Hi, everyone. My name is Tyler, and I am one of the owners of Laminart Industries, along with my wife, Mo. If you know us, if you know our name, that's great. There's always a ton of comments of everyone recommending us. And for those who don't know us, we are a husband and wife-owned boudoir print lab. And yesterday there was a post that was gaining a lot of traction. And as the owner of a print lab, I thought I would make a quick video and jump in and sort of tackle that issue, but also tackle the bigger issue of the post as well. So there was a post yesterday where someone had ordered an item from a big box print lab, and they had mixed up the order where one image was supposed to go to one client, one image was supposed to go to the other client. And I guess there was a miscommunication or a mix-up or something happened, and the images got switched. And I jumped in and commented on the post. But I think the bigger issue of the post, there's obviously the issue of, the company mixing something up. But the bigger issue, I think, is more about when you order from a big box company versus when you order from a smaller, more independent mom and pop shop, more bespoke, more dialed in, more detail oriented, smaller company. So I think when it comes to the bigger companies, it's a little harder in terms of the systems they have in place to keep things organized. There's multiple people working on items. There's multiple departments working on items, and they all need to work together efficiently to make sure that the orders from when they get emailed in to when they're shipped out and billing and every part in between is on track. So that does get a bit difficult, and there were, based on the comments from what I've seen, there were people saying that this is common among a few of the bigger labs recently, where perhaps they're outsourcing staff, perhaps there's staff turnover where they're training and hiring new people and getting them into the company, perhaps they're downsizing, perhaps they're changing up some of their offerings or their company structures. So with bigger companies, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things going on, and they are very oriented on having things done in a way that creates profit because they have such a bigger bottom line. They have big, huge warehouses. They have lots of staff. They have lots of materials. Their main goal is to, like any business, is to make money, but their main goal is to get things out so that they're making the most profit with it. Whereas a smaller company like ours, for example, or other companies in the industry that are a little smaller, maybe a little more local to you, their main thing is just the customer service. It's making sure things are done correctly, making sure they're done the way that need to be done. And I can't speak for other labs. I have contacts and friends in the print industry, so I have a little bit of knowledge of how they operate. But I do know for Laminart Industries, our print lab, what we do is I have 20 years of experience in the print industry. I've been with Laminart since 2009, so almost 20 years at Laminart, specific industry experience. And what we do is, because we're a smaller print lab, like I said, we're a mom and pop shop owned, it's husband and wife owned, and there's the conception in the industry that we are a big, huge, big box lab. But it's really, my wife and I do 90% of the work ourselves. So when you send in an order, I'm specifically the one answering the emails, inputting the orders. So taking your files and any information like drop shipping and putting that into an internal sort of document for a work order so that we can put it into production. So an email will come in with the order. I answer the email, respond back with the appropriate potential delivery time, potential completion time, when it'll ship out, what day the client is likely to get it, if it's coming to you, what day it will typically arrive, as well as at the end of the process, sending you your invoice and receipt. So when you have someone that's not transferring things off to a department, there's not a person taking in your email, there's not a person working on it, there's not a person packaging it, and there's not a person billing it. It's all done through myself. So that's why when there's an issue with things shipping out and going to wrong places, that typically happens more on a big scale place, whereas a small scale place for us, I'm answering the emails, I'm printing the products, I'm packaging the products, I'm invoicing you, and I'm shipping it out and sending you the tracking at the end. So I think I made a comment in on the post yesterday where it's we've been shipping to boudoir photographers since 2015, and we've never mixed up an order. And it's just because of that fact. When you're taking in the order and you're printing it and then you're packaging it and you know who it's for, it's a lot easier to negate all those mistakes. So that's one of the advantages of a smaller lab. We always recommend the smaller labs, sometimes, especially now where with a lot of drop shipping over the last 5 years, kind of since COVID, drop shipping has become a lot more prevalent. A lot more people are doing it. It saves a lot of time, saves a lot of money. And when it comes to drop ships, what you really want to do is have it really dialed in and have everything super specific to you. So when you have a smaller lab that's focused on that, that's really what it's a huge benefit for. So, and when you're working with smaller labs, like ours is a husband and wife owned company, we're a small business, just like all the photographers we work with. So when we make a product, when we are working with people, we're not working with order 61,400, which I think is roughly what we're at invoice wise after 35 years of being in business. So you're not just order number 61,000. You're Jane or Jeff or Lindsay or whoever it is. We think of people as the people, not as a number in the system that needs to be completed. So when we make the products too, it's the same way, where I'm one of the few owners of a print lab that's in pretty much all the boudoir groups, because I'm a photographer and an artist as well. So it's one of those, when I make a product, it's really my personal stamp that I'm putting on it. Like, I put everything behind the pieces that I make because I'm making them myself. So I feel like there's a lot more accountability when I make things. Like, if I know something is for a Jeff or a Lindsay or a Craig or a Sean or a Derek or whoever it is, I know I'm making that piece for them. Even if it's a direct ship to the client, there's still my name on it because I'm the face of the company. I'm printing everything, I'm packaging it, and I'm making sure everything is dialed in every step of the way. Whereas with a big company, when it's handed off to 3, 4, 5 people in the mix, by the time it goes from the beginning to the end, there's a lot less accountability that way. There's a lot of, like, when you hire someone and they punch in for that 9 to 5 and they go home at the end of the day, and if something happens, something happens. But for us, for any really small business, for any mom and pop shop, just like as every photographer knows, it's really about that personal touch, and that's what we put into it, not just from the quality of our products, but also to the design of our products, to how we handle things like billing and shipping out, where we're making sure all the shipments go to where they need to go, because especially with boudoir, with any product that's true, but especially with boudoir, it's so important to have everything dialed in, to have that confidentiality, to have that accountability, to have everything that you do be personally attached to the products and the people that you're working with. So I would say that is a big factor between big box versus a small independent company, and we always recommend it that way. There's a lot of things that small independent husband and wife, mom and pop shop owned companies can and will do for you that big box places won't as well. Like, especially we've had people that have been having a bit of trouble, so we helped them out with a no interest payment plan where, say they had a $500 order, and it's like, okay, well, let's, pay $200 now, and then you can pay $200 next month, and you can pay the $100 in the third month. Or, sometimes people need a little help where it's, instead of billing something right when we ship out, they're like, hey, can you bill it next week when I get paid? Can you bill it when the client comes and pays and picks up if they're doing IPS sales, for example? So we've helped people with that, where, some of the places will put you on that, what is that Shopify payment plan, but they charge you interest, whereas, we'll do the things like that. Also for some of our pieces, like for our metal prints, for example, metal prints are very popular in boudoir, and getting the colors right is super important. So we're the only lab that'll offer a test sample. So if you send in an order, we'll put a little piece of your image on a scrap piece of the metal. When we're doing custom cuts, sometimes we get little pieces that are sort of offcuts or little strips. and we'll print your image on a little strip, send you a video of it, and then you can check out the colors. And this is great for if people are signing up for the first time, or if you get a new monitor, new software, you want to make sure everything's dialed in, you want to make sure it's all calibrated and it looks good, we can do that test panel. So there's a lot of things that a smaller place like ours will do that big places can't. And especially nowadays where people really want everything to be exactly what it needs to be, because you don't want to pay extra fees for mistakes or redundancies or things like that. The smaller companies are definitely the way to go. In my opinion, at least. Obviously, this whole video, I'm 100% biased because I'm a small business owner. I run the print lab. I've been doing printing for 20 years now. So take that all with a grain of salt. It's obviously based on bias, but the nuggets of what I'm saying are truthful and they hold up, you know. There's no unfactual information in that, even though it is, said with a degree of bias. But it's really one of those where working with the boudoir communities and being a small business and doing things like help out, like, you know, we donate a lot of time, energy, materials, sponsorships, products to the whole industry, because, you know, we support the industry that supports us, whereas sometimes the big box places, they support making money. They'll support, you giving them an order and paying them, but are they putting back into the community? And there's some big box places that won't even print boudoir. So, you know, we try and help out with doing our Photographer of the Month program, where we donate our social media and our website to a photographer every month. And we've been doing that since January of 2019. So we've helped a lot of photographers just gain extra traction on their social medias, on their engagement rates every month. We also do a lot of things where we sponsor quite a few boudoir groups with monthly or weekly challenges and critiques and things like that. I've been a judge for multiple competitions of image competitions, or when people need feedback, because I'm in the print industry, but I'm also a business owner too. So it's just a really good feeling to help out that way and to help out the people who are helping us. So just wanted to hop in with that quick video on sort of big box versus small independent print labs. And as always, if there's any questions, you can always DM me on Facebook or contact us at info@laminartindustries.com. And I got a few other videos that I've seen a few comments before, and I always try and pop in with comments, but usually it's the people who comment on those posts, or the initial poster sees the information. And I think there's a few posts that I have a good bit of information for that I'm going to try and get out there. We're going to be reposting everything in our own VIP group, so we also have that if you want to check that out. There's some exclusive promos. There's some kind of first look things before we release things other places. So there's a lot of good stuff in the VIP group. So check that out. So until the next one, signing off. Thanks, everybody.